Hi Cancer, this is your June 2016 horoscope with me, Lada from Astrolada.com, and this is for anyone who have their ascendant, sun or moon in Cancer. And the first 20 days of June might feel like they're a little bit slower than other times because you have the Sun and Venus and Mercury in your 12th house. So it's kind of even from the last 10 days of May, the planets are moving into your 12th house. And the 12th house is the house of endings, of completing things, of wrapping up things, of more becoming a bit more taking rest and break, reevaluating the past 12 months or the past actions you've been busily involved with and what the results of those actions are, completing certain projects. 12th house is endings, wrapping up. And it's not particularly the best time to start new beginnings, because the 12th house is the house of the invisible, the subconscious. And when the planets start moving into your first house from around the 23rd, 4th of June onwards, then you start feeling revitalized, re-energized. You can start manifesting on the material level again. So don't beat yourself up if you're feeling a bit more lazy, if you're feeling more contemplative, if you even feel like sleeping more for part of June. Or sometimes people even become more emotional when their 12th house is triggered. But this is the time when we're more in tune with our intuition, more in tune with our higher consciousness and our higher self. So you can receive dreams, or you can receive inspiration and imaginative inspirations, which can help you prepare for the new stage which comes when the sun enters your sign, which will bring you new bright beginnings, which will bring you new program for the next 12 months, so to speak. And so wait till around the end of the month if you're planning on starting something totally new, something totally different. Till then, take stock, wrap up things from the past, complete things, rest more. It's a good time to travel to foreign countries. 12th house rules foreign countries, or journeys of the mind in any way, which can take you away from the mundane, which can help you see things from a more mysterious or magical or more spiritual perspective, in a sense. Pay attention to your spiritual well-being. You'd probably feel more inclined either to watch movies, to read books, to spend more time alone. It's kind of to shake off the build-up of the last 12 months before the time of your birthday comes, or the time when the sun transits your ascendant if it's in Cancer, which will renew things and bring revitalization and more energy into your life. Okay, so that's how most of the planets are. But there is also a grand square that's happening the first 2 weeks of June between planets, which will affect you more on the psychological level. And they're happening in your 12th house, in your 6th house, in your 9th and 3rd house. So these are psychological houses of the mind, of the lower mind, basically the logical, the rational mind, of the higher mind, the mind of ideas and concepts, of the subconscious mind. The 12th house is the subconscious, and the practical 6th house is also the practical mind that solves tangible problems. So there is kind of like a tension between those four areas in your life. For example, how can it work out? The facts are telling you one thing, your 3rd house, but your intuition is telling you something else. Friends are telling you one thing, or people around you in your environment, but your higher mind is having a different concept about reality. There might be some tension between what you think and what your belief systems are, how you're acting and following those belief systems as well. But there is definitely a shift with this grand square of your mental processes. There is definitely a shift of how you perceive reality and how you feel about that reality. So there is like a big mental change that's happening, but it can manifest because it's a hard square. It can manifest hard grand square, as we call it. It can manifest like having more psychological tension the first couple of weeks, feeling maybe some apprehensions. Your mind and subconscious and conscious mind may be overactive. They might be battling it out in some way, and you can attract such kind of tension by expressing your opinions and clashing with other people's beliefs and opinions, by trying to find balance between work, 6th house, and rest, the 12th house, between the soul, what the soul needs, and what the physical and practical side of life needs. So there's some kind of a tension that happens there, some kind of a inner push and pull that you can resolve creatively. You can resolve, even just being aware of that is a process of growth, in a sense, and can create big, like almost get you out of some mental rut, get you out of some psychological tied down situation that you've been in. And it's all those houses that are being triggered with the grand square for you Cancers. They're called they're called mutable houses. They're called falling houses because these are houses that are again about completions, wrapping things up, analyzing things, analyzing with your feelings, with your thoughts, looking for alternatives as well, looking at how things can be somehow differently, and researching those alternatives. So the first 2-3 weeks of the month are exactly great for that. Just observe, watch your feelings, observe others, you know, and those inner apprehensions and tensions, they will crystallize into a new way of thinking and approaching things, which you can take and start over on when the sun enters your sign, Cancers. Another thing that is happening is that Mars will be going retrograde in your 5th house of romance, in your 5th house of creativity, in your 5th house of children as well. So what does it mean? It happens very rarely, once every 17 years. And it's going to be retrograde there for a month, but will stay in your 5th house for 2 months altogether. So what can you expect there? Well, Mars is like a surgical knife that wants to operate on that area of your life and remove any tumors, any unhealthy ways of doing that, the things of that house. And the 5th house is, first of all, how we love and how we show love to others, how we love ourselves as well. So that's why it rules dating, it rules love affairs, it rules those relationships of falling in love, basically romantic relationships and interests, as they say. So some tensions can escalate there with Mars retrograde, whether inner, but you start becoming aware that maybe the way you express love, or the way that someone is showing you love and appreciation, which is the 5th house, is not exactly the way you want it to be done. And you might confront people with that, or loved people of yours can confront you, whether it's your children or lovers or romantic partners. They can themselves confront you, so they can put the cards on the table, and you can change this, how the exchange of love between people is happening, how you're dating, how you usually date people, what you have, what expectations you have. And if you're in a romantic relationships that's not especially satisfying, those issues will escalate, can come to the surface, and it can even in extreme cases bring separations, because I said Mars is a surgical instrument. It wants to cut off. And if you're resisting this change and transformation that Mars wants through your own willpower, in such relationships with your children, romantic relationship with lovers, Mars will force it to you from outside. You'll be confronted with some issues that are happening there, and how, and eventually it will transform those relationships in some way as well. The 5th house is also our creative urges. It's our, if anyone who is in any center stage activities, whether it's a sportsman, whether it's someone who does videos like me, whether it's someone who makes presentations in front of audience, or anyone who is involved in creative artistic, whether it's in theater, in dancing, in music, written or spoken creativity in any sort, creating content of any sort. This is the 5th house. It's our creative intelligence. So Mars will ask you, Cancers, there to re-examine such matters. Maybe it will bring to completion an old creative project of yours, or can bring even an old passion of yours, romantic, that you have not reconciled, or you have not been able to, you know, maybe you've been hurt in some way, and it brings it to your consciousness, whether you meet the person again, some love interest, or whether you just rethink that relationship and you change something in your mind, psychologically transform it in some way, so you no longer feel bugged about this situation or that past relationship. Or it can bring also old passions and creative hobbies that you've had. Maybe you haven't drawn in a while, and now Mars retrograde makes you pick up the paintbrush again. Or maybe you love swimming. These are the things we really love and are passionate about. This is the 6th house. Mars will, going retrograde there, can reawaken or make you deep dive into those creative skills. Or if you're working on some creative project, you might have to redo it a few times, fix it in some way, use extra willpower to change it, to make it better in some way. And if you have your own business, 6th house is also connected people that, you know, they're the creative mind of their own business, even if it's not a creative business. But if you have your own business, it's like your baby. That's why 5th house rules children as well. And anything that you nurture from little, and you grow up with your own creative intelligence, and your own ideas. Even if the business is not, as I said, creative itself, Mars there might ask you to put extra efforts in restructuring somehow this business strategically, in some way working on some project extra hard, changing something there. Again, Mars is about changes, and if you're not doing it consciously, again, it can come to you from outside as a push. So that's about how I see things from you happening in with Mars retrograde in the 5th house. And when it starts moving direct again from the end of June, you'll be able to you'll be able to start seeing the results, or to have solving of those issues, whether it's issues connected to your children in some way, your relationship with them, or their own personal life. They'll start getting untangled, or if your child had to put a lot of extra effort in something, you finally will start paying off, or some changes in regards to how you perceive relationships, romantic relationships, and how you give and receive love can also change, and you'll start seeing the results. So if you've been putting extra efforts in some hobby, or some complications happen in regards to any of those matters, they can start untangling when Mars moves direct from July onward. So thank you very much, Cancers. I hope you enjoyed this prediction. I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. Subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook. The name there is Astrolada. Follow my page. I do free readings there. People can win competitions to have a reading with me, or one of my psychics, or one of the amazing astrologers that I work with. I do daily updates on astrology, on tarot, on esoteric, on spirituality. So yeah, if you want to be more in touch with me, follow me on Facebook. Thank you very much.